Stand by. Aloha, everyone, and thank you for joining in for some inspirational team tarot readings. My name is Brendan, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon. Happy Shiftmas! Happy to be hanging out here with you guys. Still riding those solstice energy waves, and thank you again, everyone, for being here. And we'll get things started momentarily. We're actually going to start off with the Hero's Journey deck. So for those of you who may be new to this, I'll give you a little bit of an introduction. And for those of you on TikTok or Instagram, if you guys want to join in on YouTube, please feel free to do that. When you're on YouTube, you guys can easily access the links. You can just kind of leave comments in the chat there, but I'll be giving my attention across all streaming platforms to the best of my ability. And yeah, we'll start off just with a reading without anybody having to contribute right off the bat or anything like that. And then I'll go over again just kind of some basic instructions. If you guys want to be able to get a reading on air, there's a couple ways to be able to do that. You can help support on Patreon and join there with a monthly membership and help us reach our goal on Patreon. Our next milestone goal is 111, and again, that's our monthly membership, which gives you all sorts of awesome perks within our community of conscious creators and spiritual seekers. And you can also contribute a contribution of whatever you want for an on-air reading. So that can be $5, it can be more than $5. Any of the funds raised through that goes right into supporting the work that we do, creating these spaces and holding space for the community as well. So yeah, feel free to join in and hang out and to be able to see what messages the universe has for us. It's actually exciting because, you know, for those of you who like, if you have tuned into one of my tarot broadcasts before, do me a favor, drop an 1111 in the chat and feel free to just let me know and show some love there. And state the obvious, I haven't been on doing tarot readings in quite some time. I've been a little bit busy getting things ready to be a daddy and everything like that, but happy to be able to be back here once again. And stay tuned because it's definitely my intention to be able to be on here as much as I'm able to in the coming future. Peaceful human advancement, you're asking, okay, so other than Patreon, the PayPal link is in my profile. So I don't have Venmo. I feel like I should literally set that up. I'll probably do that even just between now and the next broadcast. So if you want to cut a rain check or whatever, Venmo is the only thing that works for you. That's totally fine. And the other option, if you guys want to be able to like order any items from the shop, that can also contribute for a reading. So if you're just like, actually, you know what, I want to order a light guardian crystal, go ahead and do that, and that will count towards a reading as well. But anyways, we'll walk through it. We'll get things going. Let's start off with our first reading. If anybody wants to contribute to the PayPal as we're doing this first reading, feel free to do that. Every reading that we do is, again, it's for whoever's contributing, but it's also for the collective. So if you guys are like, hey, can I have a reading? Like, stick around. Every reading is for whoever happens to be tuned in. So shout out to everyone tuned in. Shout out to Mystic, shout out to Rising Starseed. Thank you guys so much for joining in. And yeah, let's get things started here. And shout out to Peaceful Human Advancement. Shout out to Cass. Shout out to Hippie Life. And shout out to the Bearded Tarot Guy. Oh, dude, I recognize your profile. Thank you for joining in. All right, let's get things started here. So first deck that we're going to be working with is the Hero's Journey deck. Now, obviously it's tarot, but I do it's like Oracle / tarot. And what's actually really exciting is that I actually have several new decks that I haven't used yet, and I'll show you guys what the decks are in a little bit. I don't want to spoil, I don't want to give it all away just yet. But if you do contribute either through the PayPal or the Patreon, then you can also choose whichever deck it is that you guys want. So yeah, Peaceful Human Advancement, if it's easier, like you can always even just like DM me on Instagram in the back channel. I can see my messages and everything. I got like all these like screens operating around me at all times. So let's start off with the Hero's Journey deck. And again, every time that we do this, what I like to be able to do, these aren't readings that I do as a way where it's like, oh, this is a fortune telling or this is like a psychic reading, but this is like an intuitive reading where we're basically setting forth the intention, show us what we need to see. And with this is where we open up the idea that any reading is for whoever happens to be tuned in right now. So if you're tuned in right now, this message is for you. So we're just going to drop into a little bit of a meditation. If you guys are new, feel free to hang out. You can put me on in the background while you guys are doing other stuff, and we'll keep an eye open for any contributions through the PayPal or Patreon. And I'll also post a link into the YouTube chat for the item shop, and again for the PayPal and the Patreon. And thank you guys again so much for your support. So allow me to get back into this. I gotta warm up, man. Like, it's been a while. It's literally been like 3 months since I've done this, but just like riding a bike, right? Just like getting back on the ice. All right, let's have some fun. I'll be on air for at least the next couple hours. Lacey's okay right now. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for the love and support. Supporting me doesn't just support me, it supports Lacey and our future baby as well. So, all right, first reading, here we go. Setting the intention, show us what we need to see. So if you guys want to join in a quick little meditation, inviting you to be able to put forth the intention as well, and you guys will be able to actually help influence this reading. So everybody here, when you're ready, feel free to gently just close your eyes if you wish to join us in a very short intentional meditation as we pull the card. Just taking a moment here to connect with our breath. Maybe this is the first mindful breath you've had of the day so far, so just give yourself an extra moment here to just arrive. As we gently breathe here, just bringing our awareness into a space of gratitude. Gratitude for this community, gratitude for this space, gratitude for the messages we are here to receive. And from this place of gratitude, we'll collectively focus our attention towards the intention. Show us what we need to see. So for everybody here, feel free to send that intention out like a beam of light up into the sky. Show us what we need to see. We being the individual, we being the collective, we being the community, we being the team. So with everybody here putting forth that intention, we'll just take an extra moment here to be able to charge the deck, and then we'll split it as I just kind of listen to my intuition. So speaking that intention, show us what we need to see. Speak with your heart, speak with your mind, speak with your words, speak with your soul. Feel free to leave your wizard noises in the chat. Oh, you guys have probably missed leaving those wizard noises in the chat. So here we go. And oh, what a joy it is to be here, my friends, to allow ourselves to unfold upon this journey that never ends. As we open our heart to the magic inside, we shall split the deck to be able to see what magic resides. All right, so first card that we have as our official comeback tarot broadcast of 2021 is... Ooh, beautiful. Oh, this is a great card to be able to start off with. The first card that we have pulled for everybody who is here, tune in right now, is card number 51, Be the Bridge. Card number 51, Be the Bridge. So I'm going to show the card just to the YouTube camera. We got Instagram, we got TikTok there as well. So Be the Bridge. Expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. So the way how I like to do my tarot readings, and again, everybody's got their own style of tarot, and I appreciate you guys supporting mine. And again, the intention here is to be able to, like, I theme mine as like inspirational tarot reading. So what we're going to do, we're going to read from the book, and then from there, I'm going to kind of like channel a continued, just like expanded version of the message, just like from my own heart, just being able to bring forth words of inspiration that will hype you guys up. So let's take a look here at the card, and then we'll read from the book first. So first and foremost, just looking at the card here, this is like just the first step where I'll just kind of like visually just like acknowledge what the symbol on the card is. Not even just the symbolism. Sometimes it's literally just like just explaining what we see. This deck is a little bit more kind of like symbolic art wise, like almost like abstract symbology. So it's kind of even hard to even like say what it is. But when you guys look at this card, what do you see? And it's like quite abstract. Like I wouldn't even know how to like fully explain this card. It's like we got some like pillars, we got some like star colors in the background, but even still, you know, just kind of like looking at this card, if I were to interpret it, like again, what do you guys see when you see this card? If I were to look at it, I kind of see, it's kind of like, what do I see here? It's interesting because it's like very abstract, but it kind of looks like it's like almost like a being kind of looking over these like pillars. And it's kind of interesting because we're definitely themes of the pillars is kind of like a big theme within the community, like helping people like ignite their own inner pillar. So anyways, what do you guys see there? We got some interesting pillars kind of in the middle, some interesting star colors in the background, and kind of like this like ominous kind of like, I don't know if you want to consider that a person or just another pillar or whatever the case may be. I kind of almost think of it as almost like an ancestor kind of like looking over us, or like a higher dimensional entity just kind of like peeking in. Anyways, it's up for interpretation. Let's dive into the reading, and then we'll go a little bit further with some further expanded stream of consciousness inspiration for you guys. So thank you guys again so much for joining in. We'll keep our eyes open for any contributions that come through the Patreon or the PayPal. any contributions that come through as we're doing this, that person who contributes, the next reading will go right into it, and you'll help facilitate that next reading. And by that I mean you'll help like pull the card. So if it's your first time here, just hang out, get a feel for it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in and supporting, and happy to be back in the game. So all right, if you're here, this message is for you. Card number 51. Be the bridge. Expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. As I'm reading this, if anything I say resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. And yeah, we'll just kind of vibe out here together. So again, this is a quote by Rainier Maria Rilke. Again and again, some people in the crowd wake up. They have no ground in the crowd, and they emerge according to the broader laws. They carry strange customs with them and demand room for bold gestures. The future speaks ruthlessly through them. Interesting. All right, let's get into the core message here. So, message. It may feel that no one understands you or what you've gone through, but remember, the higher self in everyone you interact with is rooting for your awakening. Very powerful. Again, if anything I say resonates to you, drop an 1111 in the chat and just kind of like receive this. You can just kind of like meditate as I'm just speaking this softly to you. But will you stay awake or be lulled into sleepiness? You can't unsee the glory that you've seen. You can't unfeel the radiance you've felt. You can't unlearn the higher truths now encoded within your soul. Though you may feel like a stranger in strange land, it is up to you to stay alert and to turn awakened moments into minutes, hours, days, and a way of life. This is how you become a bridge from the special world to the ordinary world, so that as many people as want to can come and cross over. Fascinating, fascinating. Oh, I just realized I forgot to post on Discord. Posting that now. Here we go. Now Discord knows that we're live. All right, let's keep things rolling here. Okay, dream symbol bridge. This deck's interesting. It always has dream symbols with it. So, dream symbol bridge. This one's interesting. I'm excited to like dive into it. Like this is like an entire podcast topic right here. Dreams of a bridge symbolize a no part of yourself get left behind policy. A bridge reflects your desire or attempt to keep a connection, whether it be between relationships, places of your life, aspects of yourself, or what you've learned about how to bring wisdom down to earth. You are moving forward in your life, connecting the dots between who you were and where and who you are now and who you are becoming. Mantra. All that I've learned forms a bridge from earth to heaven and back again. Fascinating, fascinating. Awesome. Shout out to yo Peaceful Human Advancement, dude. Thank you so much for the contribution, and thank you for paying it forward tonight. Super appreciate it, dude. If you want me to send you any light guardian crystals, just let me know, man. And we'll continue with this reading, and then we'll get right into the next reading. And Peaceful Human Advancement, if you want to join on YouTube, feel free. If you want to stay on Instagram, that's totally fine. And yeah, let's keep rolling along here because there's more that I want to be able to dive into. So this is a very, very powerful card to be able to receive right now, and I've definitely been feeling this theme arising within the collective. It's interesting because, you know, a lot of people, they kind of talk about the fascination of this attachment that we have to like wanting to spiritually awaken, and yet, as many of us know who have continuously been on this path, like spiritually awakening, like the process of just being within this reality, it comes in ebbs and flows. It goes through waves. And so what's interesting is because we as humans, we have something very unique, and what we have that is unique is the concept of will, and the will that we carry with us is actually what differentiates us from like basic like animals and instincts and minerals and plants and things like that. But the will that we carry is actually the will that helps initiate the further steps of our conscious evolution, because without will, what actually happens within our conscious awakening is that we will fall back asleep. Like this is actually something that is just a natural part of this reality. Like it's not like you literally just like, oh, whoa, I had like an awesome like psychedelic experience over the weekend and I feel so amazing and everything, and I'm doing my best to be able to integrate it, and that's totally great and that's totally normal. But what also happens is that you kind of become, you know, you eventually begin to become your environment, and you become your habits, and you become your routines. And so if your routines aren't nurturing the garden that you are growing, then what will be the result of that? What will be the yield of your results? So basically, like, you are the work that you put in. And so with this card, it's helpful to know that, like anything, it will atrophy. Your awakening will atrophy. And I'm sure a lot of us have probably experienced this before, and you guys let me know, where sometimes we get like really excited about spiritual themes and spiritual topics, and we're tuning into broadcasts and we're taking part in all sorts of like fun and exciting things, and then over time, maybe just kind of like the busyness of life takes over, or we just kind of find ourselves falling back into like old routines and habits. And then suddenly over time, and not even suddenly, subtly over time, we find ourselves becoming like more distant from our spiritual practices, from our heart space. And so with this card, what I want to be able to do is just emphasize the practicality of, being the bridge is something that I talk about quite regularly within the community. And the concept of being the bridge is like a duty bigger than oneself. And so the simplified way of being able to be the bridge, it's not necessarily this idea of like, oh, like I need to go out and constantly change the world and constantly be like a conscious creator and consciously like be out there like, like helping as many people as I can. But being the bridge is also about being able to, quite simply, connect to the wisdom back into the heart space, because it is the heart that is the bridge. So when you think about this, like, how do you nurture the continuation of your awakening? More so, it's this idea of how consciously are you in your heart space on the regular. And this is something, again, like, and yo, AJ, what's up? This is something, again, where we will notice ourselves falling out of this. We will notice ourselves falling back into the unconscious, falling ourselves back into like old routines and old habits and old relationships. However, that doesn't mean that you're like doing something wrong. If anything, it just means that you're at that point along your path where you have the opportunity to be able to reflect and to answer the question, where do I want to go? Maybe you do want to fall back asleep for a bit. That's okay. Like, seriously, like we have like this, like, we don't, it's interesting because I feel like almost like within the spiritual community, it's like once you wake up, like you have to stay awoke forever. And if you fall back to sleep, then screw you. You're like, we're going to leave you behind, sort of thing. But it's like, you know what? Like, honestly, and speaking from my own experience and speaking from every single human that can agree with this, embrace the fact that there will be times within your journey where you'll be super tuned into your spiritual practice, super tuned into your heart space, taking part in things that are just igniting your spirit on the regular. And then there will be parts where you will ebb back into the unconscious patterns and the unconscious kind of just like old routines of the past and old relationships. But what the difference is that as you kind of like find yourself back into that state, how conscious are you of it? Are you just going to be like, you know what, like, maybe I don't want to keep waking up. I'm just gonna just kind of like remain within this like complacency, remaining kind of in this numbness. And honestly, like a big thing that we have happening within the world right now is people kind of like reverting back to this complacency, reverting back to this numbness. And that's where honestly community is so powerful, because without having to like force anybody, again, when we are consciously like bringing ourselves back into our spiritual practices and bringing ourselves back into our heart space, ultimately what we discover is that we cultivate a deeper sense of happiness, a deeper sense of well-being, a deeper sense of joy. Like, as you continue to bring more conscious awareness into your spiritual awakening, so to speak, does it make things necessarily easier? No, not necessarily, but it cultivates a substance that cannot be taken away from you, like in the long run. Like, it kind of like ebbs and flows, but what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to kind of like craft that philosopher's stone over time. And again, through the process of consciously noticing when you're kind of like falling back into the sleepiness, into the unconscious, to see it as a message, to see it as the idea that, you know what, like maybe there's something that I need. What, like, why are you falling back into sleepiness? Don't get like necessarily like super critical of yourself, but get curious. Get curious as to why you're falling back into kind of like unconscious routines. Like, how many people here, especially over the last 6 months, the last year, how many people here have found themselves kind of like falling back into unconsciousness? Like, almost kind of like this whatever, fuck it, I give up, like whatever, like I'm just gonna sit on my couch and just kind of like become a blob for a bit, and I don't want I don't want to hear, like, if someone says namaste one more time, I'll freaking slap them. Like somehow you've like developed this like aversion to spirituality, probably because you've like you've immersed yourself in it so much. Like, this is actually fine. Like, you can actually honor the fact that you've kind of like almost gotten sick of like constantly like feeling like the need to be able to like be spiritual on the regular. But again, spirituality is the journey of the ebb and the flow. Maybe you're never not spiritual. Maybe it's just the understanding that spirituality is kind of like the breath. It's the waxing and the waning. And your job is to be able to like honor the moments when you do feel yourself distant from the heart, and to make that choice to become aware of it, to become curious and say, what do I need right now? What can I do to bring myself back to that heart space? Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna take some time to be able to go out in nature. Maybe I'm gonna have a conversation with a friend. Maybe I'm gonna listen to a Paradigm Shift Radio podcast. Maybe I'm gonna go to a yoga class. And you do this and you gently find that it brings you back to this space. Brings you back to this space where suddenly things just kind of like move into a broader sense of engagement and shininess and awareness and choice as well. So this card is a very, very powerful card, because I think it definitely relates to a lot of what many of us are experiencing right now, where we almost have spiritual fatigue. Like we've kind of like been going through this spiral, and we're just like, oh man, like I need to get off the ride. Like, I need to like just go take a break for a little bit. And if that's the case, then go ahead, do that. Feel what it feels like to not be spiritual for a bit. Feel what it feels like to fall asleep for a bit. Feel what it feels like to be the version of you that was you like 2 years ago, and maybe wasn't unconscious patterns, and maybe wasn't doing all the best healthy things. But then from that place, make the choice to be able to say, do I want to stay here? Or do I want to be able to go into a new place? And it's not like you're literally going back into that other version of you that was spiritually awake. You go into a new level of your spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening isn't just this like circle that you just go back and forth in. It's a spiral that you go up and ascend through. And so as you go through the spiritual awakening, you will go through phases where you're just like, you know what? Like, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm heavy, I'm lonely, this is hard, this is frustrating, I don't want to deal, I don't want to even pretend to be happy, I don't give a crap about chakras or anything like that. Like, that's cool. Like, 100%, that's totally cool. It doesn't make you like a bad person to not feel that you're like ready to show up as this like spiritually awakened person. So take that time to be able to turn inwards. And to notice how through the guidance of your own heart, you will actually find that you'll either make a choice to be able to just say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to stay in this space. Maybe I'll stay here for a couple more weeks. Maybe I'll stay here for a couple more months. And to know that there is a space that you can always return back to, the space of the wisdom of the heart, the space of the engagement with your spirit, connecting more through spiritual practices. And so again, I'll just wrap this up because we're going to get into the next card. Peaceful Human Advancement. If you're tuned in right now, let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to get right into another reading. And and we did have Jessica, thank you for your contribution. Jessica, if you want to, we can probably do your reading next, because I'm not sure if Peaceful Human Advancement is tuned in right now. But either way, we'll just keep readings going. But this one, man, like, again, like, this card's really, really ripe, and I think this card is very relative. So again, by being the bridge, it just means to be, you know, gentle with where we are at. And yet through the process of being in our own heart space, we naturally find ourselves wanting to be able to show up for others, to bring more light into this world, to bring more higher conscious ideas into this dimension, to be the bridge between higher conscious ideas and mainstream culture. And that happens merely through the process of you just being able to kind of like be gentle with yourself first and foremost. And through you being gentle with yourself, this carries over to others, and it helps others be able to be gentle with themselves as well. So being the bridge, again, you know, like, is really being able to show people a new way, to show people from a way of kind of like complacency and sleepiness and sleep and the unconscious, and to move into the conscious, to move into the place where we are consciously like engaging with the spiritual practices that just bring us back into a place of like gratitude, but also into a grounded place of realism, where we're not just like spiritually bypassing or ignoring the things that we're experiencing, and being very real with ourselves. Like, literally, you could like kind of like go up and down like multiple times, like within like a couple weeks. Like, it can happen. It can even happen like even just like within like a single day, where it's like, you know what, a part of my practice is to kind of like indulge in the things that just kind of help me disconnect, because trying to be spiritual 24/7, like it actually like it burns you out. And so take the time where you're just kind of like, you know, experiencing the things that bring you joy, but then also doing it in a healthy way where it's not becoming something that you become lost in, but rather it just becomes something where you can just kind of like soften yourself so that you can take the rest to be able to bring the attention to other parts that will help you focus towards the bigger goals. And I think the big part of being the bridge, and I'll just say this, man, I've been talking for like half hour, sorry guys. Next card. I'll just say this, the big part about being the bridge, and again, if this resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. Like, I'm just channeling stuff, so I hope whatever I say is something that whoever's tuned in, you're just like, oh, thanks, I needed this. And Rebecca, I can see you in the chat saying you needed this, and thank you guys as well. And Rebecca, are you on? I have two Rebeccas on both platforms. Rebecca says, what if you feel like you've been there for so long, but want to awaken again, but don't really have the will? Rebecca, honestly, the best thing I would recommend for that is community. Surround yourself with other people who are also cultivating the will. Like, that is the simplest answer, because like through osmosis, you will find yourself getting involved with like events and reflection and discussions that will naturally remind you, oh yeah, this actually is what I want. And that's like, I think what's important is that, you know, like through this practice, like it's like, what do you really want? Do you want to stay in that place of sleepiness? You might want to be there for a bit, but do you want to stay there? Probably not. Probably not. If you've awakened once before, there's something within your heart that will naturally like bring you back to that space, which is really, really beautiful. It's really, really something to celebrate and to honor. So the last thing I'll just say with being the bridge is that I think being the bridge, it's a journey of self-discovery, nocete ipsum, but it's also the journey of service, the hero's journey of being able to merge the worlds of the special and the ordinary, which is kind of something they talk about within the archetype of the hero's journey. So once you kind of like awaken to this realization that there's more to this world than we've been led to believe, it's up to us to be able to kind of like be conduits for this knowing, and to be able to bring it into our life through simply being nothing less than our authentic self. So be the bridge by being you, and by being able to take care of yourself, and by being able to honor the moments in your life where you don't give two shits about being a bridge, and you just need to be able to disconnect, and then you take that rest, use it as a time for introspection, and then you allow yourself to be able to return back into a space of service, into inspiration, into alignment, whatever you want to call it, into higher steps of your awakening. And it's a very, very beautiful journey, and it's different for everyone. So I think just being able to honor where you're at is definitely the first step. So mantra, all that I've learned forms a bridge from earth to heaven and back again. And again, even the times where you're like asleep and stuff, that wisdom is still wisdom that you can use to be able to like help others along their journey as well. It may not necessarily be evident of the time, be like, oh man, like a part of my journey is like the fact that I maybe did fall asleep, but now here we are, right back again. So anyways, if this resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. How would you guys summarize this card with a little mantra? I would encourage you to just like take a moment here to just kind of like create an affirmation based on the message of this card, to tell your body and your soul that you kind of received this message for you. So I'll create an affirmation for myself. I am, and it can be like an I am or a we are affirmation. I am devoted to my mission of being a bridge between higher conscious ideas and mainstream culture. To do this, I will honor my own practice, to rest when I need rest, and to consciously allow myself to know that there are always ways to be able to return back to the wisdom of the heart. And through the heart, I build the bridge. So be the bridge. Beautiful, beautiful card there. So thank you guys so much for joining in. Let's get right into our next reading. We've had a couple contributions already so far, which is super awesome. Again, I'll just go over a quick little reiteration. There's a couple ways that you guys can support on this broadcast. If you guys are interested in the Light Guardian crystals, you guys can order those online through my item shop. Any orders that we do on air while we're on air, you guys can get an on-air reading in addition to that as a bonus. The Light Guardian crystals, these are also available at the $33 level on my Patreon. And again, the Patreon is the monthly contribution where you can get involved further within the community, join ongoing member events, and also to be able to have access to me for conscious media creation coaching and lots of really cool stuff, discounts for my shop. And yeah, it's a pretty awesome deal. And thank you again to our recent Patreon supporters, to Catherine, to Nadine, and to Jen, and to Jordan. We're working towards our next milestone of 111 on Patreon. So you'll see me on here quite a bit, and you'll see me talking about the Patreon on and off as we keep going, because reaching the right now, it's a bit of a stretch, but we can aim for it, is to reach 200 Patreon supporters before the baby arrives, which is in April, so right around the corner. So if you guys want to join on the Patreon, that's one way to be able to help support, and you can get a reading on air and help facilitate. Or if you guys want to contribute on PayPal, that's another way as well. So whatever works for you, if you guys want to order from the shop. Just reading the comments here, and then we'll get right into the next one. Jess, if you're ready for this reading, go ahead and we can queue things up through the Instagram. And just reading some of the comments. Discog, welcome. So grateful for y'all and young wisdom. Thank you, Discog. Mike says, this is like that one time on Rick and Morty where they entered the whirly wormhole. That episode, yeah. Starseed says, it's totally okay to take spiritual breaks to experience duality and gain clarity about what I truly deserve. Very well said. And Morgan, 1111, definitely needed. Awesome. All right. So, Jess, thank you for your contribution on PayPal. Let's keep going here, and anybody who wants to contribute again, go ahead and do that as we get going. If anybody's tuned in on Facebook right now, be sure to jump over to YouTube so I can see your comments in the chat. Otherwise, I don't usually see the comments on the Facebook. So, there's a couple different books that I have here to be able to choose from. Jess, you've already seen some of the previous ones, but I'll show you. These are two new decks that I got. So, this is one that we haven't used before. It's called Hidden Worlds, the Oracle of Hidden Worlds. This one is very, very, very cool. And then we also have a new one that I got, which is the Druid Animal deck. So again, for those of you who are tuned in right now, if you guys are excited about these new decks, then again, go ahead and contribute on the PayPal or Patreon, and you can choose whichever deck you guys want to be able to use. So if you want to choose one of these decks, that's an option as well. And then the other decks are the Lightworker Oracle deck, the Sacred Spirit deck, and the Hero's Journey deck, which we just did. So Jess, if you're okay with me choosing, I'd be cool to go with the Hidden Worlds one, just because we literally haven't done that. So Jess, what do you think? Should we Hidden Worlds, shall we crack open this tarot deck? Use it for the first time? If so, just go ahead and let me know, and we'll dive right into this. So, all right, getting things ready here. Oh, it has that new tarot deck smell to it, I swear. All right, let's do this one. So this is the Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. So this one's pretty cool. This one, like, all like the cards kind of refer to like mystical places that kind of exist within like astral realms. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to see the different cards that we pull through this one in the days to come. So let's keep things going here. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. Let's see if we can get at least 2 Patreon signups before the end of the broadcast today. And I'll keep an eye on the time, because I do want to be able to go hang out with Lacey before the night's over. And I'll keep going until about maybe a bit after 10. So let's see how many readings we can get in, but we'll take as much time as we need. And thank you to those of you on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube and on Twitch. All right, here we go. So Jess, you've seen how we do this before, so let's just do a quick little shuffle. Setting the intention, show us what we need to see. And Jess, who's on Instagram, I'll just guide you through a meditation, and then I'll prompt you to just kind of listen to your intuition. And then when you're ready, you'll say now, and then you'll type now in the chat, and then we'll split the deck. So Jess, I know you've done this before, so you're familiar with this. So thank you again, Rebecca, and anybody else. If you guys want to tune in on YouTube, just click the link in my profile. Okay, Hidden Worlds deck, here we go. Quick little meditation to be able to charge the deck and set the intention. So everybody here, feel free to just gently close your eyes if you want to join us in this short little meditation. As we connect with our breath, allowing ourselves to just be in this heart space, focusing in on gratitude for ourselves, for the community, for the messages we are here to receive, for this intentional space. And Jess, and for everybody here, collectively focusing our intention towards the idea of show us what we need to see. We being the individual, we being the collective, we being the community, we being the team. And so Jess, speak that intention with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your soul, speak it with your words. Take a few more breaths here, Jess, and when you're ready, listen to your intuition, and then type now in the chat, and I'll just do some quick little flowetry. So as the worlds of magic continue to fold in upon themselves, we will continue to see the realms of the higher dimensional inner elf So I am excited to be here with you, the fellow wizards of this land, as we continue to play, to be able to see what messages shall reveal themselves from the palm of our hands. Type your wizard noises in the chat. Welcome back, everyone. Just charging the deck now. Jess is gonna tell us when to split the deck, and we'll split the deck, and we shall see which card the universe has for us from the beautiful Hidden Worlds astral plane deck. So Jess, if you're ready, whenever you're ready, go ahead and type that into the chat now. There it is. There we go. All right, splitting that card there. All right, I'm excited to use this deck, guys. Again, for those of you just joining in, thank you so much. This is our Inspirational Team Tarot. Every reading that we do is for whoever happens to be tuned in right now. So if you're tuned in right now, then this message is for you. The card that we have pulled. Ooh, beautiful. Very, very cool. I literally, like, this deck is like brand new to me, man. I literally have not even like looked at all the cards. I intentionally like don't, just so I can look at them for the first time with you guys. So the first card that we have got for this deck, the Hidden World Oracle deck with Jess, who contributed on PayPal, thank you, Jess, is card number 22, Insight. Magical tools, writing, and what's it say? Star crafting? What the hell is star crafting? I need to find this out. We shall find out very soon what star crafting is. So again, just showing this to a couple cameras here at once. Again, card number 22, Insights, magical tools, writing, and star crafting. When you guys see this card, what do you see? Look at this card. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. That's a familiar looking face, if I don't say so myself. What do you guys see when you look at this card? So obviously we see like a very familiar wizard man kind of like sitting, and he's got like a robe made up of stars, and kind of as if he's like writing in the heavens, and he's got his like little books and orbs and candles next to him on the ground. Super, super, super cool. All right, let's dive into this. I'm excited to be able to learn a little bit more. And again, as we do this, we'll keep an eye on any other contributions through the PayPal or Patreon. And you guys are welcome to join on the Patreon at any point. It doesn't have to be today. Contributions process on the first of each month. And yeah, DM me if you have any questions. All right. Yeah, I know. It's just like, wait a second. Are we talking about StarCraft, the video game? So, okay. Here we go. I'm going to read from the deck. And then from there, we'll dive deeper with a little bit more insight. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Happy Shiftmas. Honored to be able to have you here. So, as I'm like awkwardly trying to find how to hold this properly for all the cameras. For those of you on TikTok or Instagram, join in on YouTube. Click the link in my profile if you wish. All right, here we go. If anything I say resonates, drop an 11 in the chat. Allow yourself to just receive this message like a meditation. So, card number 22, Insight, magical tools, writing, and star crafting. Whatever the hell that is. From which mystery does insight arise? From what place do the words flow? And how can we connect so deeply that we write of the stars and their secrets? Perhaps we would do well to be like the wizard between worlds who draws down the energies of all that is above and somehow weaves it into this world below, combining all that is celestial with all that is terrestrial. It's interesting because every time we do this, the cards always like sync. They always tell a story. So for those of you who are here for the first reading, what was the first card? It was about the bridge. What is this card? It's like Bridge 2.0. So let's lead a little bit more into this. Discog just joined on the Patreon. Discog, thank you so much. We'll give you a full shout out as we get through this reading. But guys, go ahead and welcome Discog on the Patreon. All right, here we go. Let me just go back and read that. Perhaps we would do well to be like the wizards between the worlds who draws the energies of all that is above and somehow weaves it into the world below, combining all that is celestial with all that is terrestrial. In those moments when we connect truly, deeply, we can literally become the link between the worlds, and through us can flow pure and clear energy. A wise energy which can guide and comfort and enlighten. A compassionate energy that can be seen beyond difference and find communion with those with whom we share this remarkable world. Yeah, this is a very beautiful card. Like, this is like right up my like cosmic alley, man. It is time to connect deeply and find the quiet in between times so you, too, can take up the pen and write. Sit quietly and connect and feel the flow of energy that is the proof of your belonging, not only to this world, but to the worlds that lie beyond the sight of your eyes. You are one who can share the knowledge. You can write of the stars, you can understand the power of the pen and the words that flow, and of the magical tools so you can gather about you. This is a time to grow stronger in your magical work. So, learn how to use the scrying ball to work with the soft wonder that is candlelight, to turn your gaze towards the stars and draw down the wonder to reveal what others cannot see in your works. Be the wizard who creates the bridges between worlds. See, like this, it's happening, guys. Like this always happens. These cards, man, it's like next level when we do this. Like, anyways, I'm getting all hyped up here. Hope you guys are too. Be the bridge between worlds. Alchemize the seen and unseen, and let the wisdom pour through the pen and into the words that will flow out of you. Illumination. I am an instrument of the divine, which pours through me and into the world. Wow, beautiful, beautiful card. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Again, if you guys resonate with this card, go ahead and drop those 1111s in the chat. I like activate my like wizard light guardian crystal to just kind of like hold this up as we go. All right. If my video is a little bit glitchy on Instagram and on YouTube and Twitch, I apologize. I think it's just like the buffering. So anyways, all right. Jess, thank you so much for your contributions on PayPal. And yeah, let's dive a little bit deeper into this. This is for anybody who's tuned in right now. This is a very, very powerful card. And again, for those of you who were tuned in previously, the card we had before this was all about being the bridge. So this card is a continuation of this, and it really just kind of like, it gives us the opportunity to really be able to connect on what I feel is very resonant with the solstice energy right now, which is a lot to do with being able to just kind of like go inside, celebrate the quietness, to embrace the stillness. And so, you know, a lot of times, even just over the past couple months, like check in with yourself. Like, what has your experience within this reality been like? Has it been like pretty busy? Has a lot of your attention been externally? That's okay if it is. But right now, especially within the times of the solstice, now is a great time to really just be able to give yourself permission to go inwards. And with this card, again, the card is called Insight. It's really inviting you to be able to connect with your tools that help serve the magic that already flows through you. So with this card, it's a very powerful reminder that, like the wizard, it's about being able to become aware that you are connected to this infinite flow of creative energy, this infinite flow of creativity, this infinite flow of creative wisdom that is essentially the universe coming through you so that it can bring itself out into the world, into the form of written word, into the form of spoken word, of art, of conversation, whatever the case may be. The universe literally comes through you. And so with this card, again, you know, as the bridge, it's important for us to be able to create the practices and the spaces where we can listen, to what is coming through us, where we can meditate on what it is that we want to be able to bring into this world. So if we're constantly just kind of like distracting ourselves with the external, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to really be able to listen to the subtleties of the waters that are flowing through us on the regular. And again, with this card, literally talking about being the bridge, in the process of doing this, I love how it says here, in these moments, when we connect truly deeply, we can literally become the link between the worlds. And through us, we can flow a pure and clear energy, a wise energy which can guide and comfort and enlighten, a compassionate energy that can see beyond the difference and find communion with those with whom we share this remarkable world. So again, with this card, this is a very, very powerful card because from the higher perspective of insight, it really gives us a chance to be able to reflect on what is happening within this world right now. And it's okay to be able to be frustrated and to be angry, while at the same time still being able to see things from a more enlightened perspective of being able to understand that a lot of like The frustration and the anger that we're experiencing is nothing less than the deeper reality of the fact that we care for other beings. And even for those who may not necessarily actively care towards us, can we still find a way to be able to create like a communion between being able to find compassion for them without even necessarily fully needing to agree with them at the same time? So this card is really inviting each and every single one of us to be able to bring more of that softness into this world, to bring more of what magic is to us into this world. And I think, again, the magic, the wizard, the weird, it's the self-awareness, it's the self-actualization, it's the deeper understanding of the interconnectedness between us and all things. And with this, when we allow ourselves to kind of like pull back the veil, we begin to be able to see the awe and wonder that permeates through this reality at all time. And I think, again, this is where like a lot of people, unfortunately, due to the state of the world right now, they're literally like, it's like they're becoming distant from their humanness. Like they're literally becoming like less of what makes a human. What makes a human isn't, just like doing the same thing over and over again and just, like going to a job they don't like and paying bills and just listening to what the TV tells them. That's not really what being a human is about. Like a robot could do the exact same thing. What makes a human is the awe, is the wonder, is the connection that we have with these holy moments that are unfolding through us in each and every single opportunity. So with this card, maybe this is a gentle reminder that, connect back into your own humanness. And in the process of doing that, it's also being able to connect back into the practice of understanding that as a human, you are a bridge between worlds. You are the hue of mana, the colors of the many magic. You are the wizard. You are the weird. You are the destiny that is awakening to itself. And so, again, with the illumination in this, I am the instrument of the divine which pours through me and into this world. Say that for yourself. I am the instrument of the divine which pours through me and into the world. And again, that's a choice. Like, that is a choice. There are going to be some days where you can just say, like, fuck it, I don't want to be an instrument to the divine. Go ahead, make that choice. Honor the fact that you're making that choice from a place that is real for you. But then at the same time, know that you have the ability to be able to see things which others do not see, to speak things which others do not speak, to commune things that others do not commune. I'll just say this and we'll get close to wrapping this up. One of the things that's very powerful, and I talk about this a lot even just within Paradigm Shift, is the idea that, like, as humans within this plane, like, we are literally ambassadors for the magic above us and the magic below us. And we have this unique ability to be able to use our hands to bring things from the etheric realms into the physical. Like, that is very, very special. Other creatures, other animals don't necessarily have the ability to do this. A dog can do what a dog does. It loves compassionately. It shares its joy. That's incredibly beautiful. But as humans, we have the ability to be able to kind of like channel things inside and then turn it into something that can be given to someone else as like a piece of holographic data that helps them understand a little bit more of the universe or helps them understand more of themselves. So with this card, for each of us, I really encourage each and every single one of us to really use these solstice times that we are in, this kind of winter time, to practice going back to the simple things. Put down the technology for a bit. Leave the phone with you when you go for a walk. Put the phone in the other room while you take some time reading a book, writing out things that are just arriving through your heart. How much are you listening to your own inner connection to the magic of the spaces around you? And that's okay if you're not. But know that in this process of being able to understand where you are, you can also realize where it is that you have the opportunity to be able to go. And where do you want to go? Do you want to be able to explore more of this? What would it feel like if you did? And I guarantee you that what it would feel like you aligning with a higher destiny. It would give you the chance to be able to meet more parts of yourself. It would give you the chance to be able to celebrate the creativity that pours through you as an extension of the creative universe that is all around you. So this is a very, very powerful the card that's really, again, celebrating the wizardness within inside each and every single one of us. And as you guys know, here within the Paradigm Shift Central community, like, that's a big theme. Like, we are literally like a team of wizards, a community of wizards. That's a big part of it. And so again, with this, if people are just like, where do I start? Where do I begin? Surround yourself with community. Surround yourself with other people who are having these conversations. Tune into these tarot broadcasts every now and then if you need some extra inspiration. Surround yourself with others who are, again, encouraging the practice of being able to simplify things back to the wisdom of the heart space. And then in the process of doing that, make time for yourself to kind of go into your own hermit mode, but then knowing that you have a place to be able to come back to. And whether you choose to engage yourself with community, that's totally up to you. But just knowing that that community is there is always something powerful to be able to have a way to be able to remind yourself what it is that you're returning back to in the first place. So yeah, very, very powerful card. Let's get close to wrapping this up and we'll get into another reading. And Jess, let me know if this resonates with you. Drop an 11 in the chat. This, again, this card reminding each and every single one of us, like, we are wizards. And as wizards, this is a very powerful card that gives us a chance to be able to connect more with the inner world, connect more with the inner wisdom, to be able to bring forth more of that inner wisdom out into either just like our own personal aha moments, or to be able to create it into art, to bring it into conversation, to write it out even just within our books. Like, honestly, like, even this isn't literally a card that's saying like, oh, like you should write things out and then create an Instagram post about it. Like, maybe this card for you is just connecting deeper with your meditations, connecting deeper with your dream practice. Like, how many people here are consciously connecting with their dream practice? That's a big thing that we talk about here within the community. Like, again, for our Patreon members, we have the dream discussion circles on the regular. Those are there to be able to bring us back to this space. Because again, I think nowadays, the hardest part about this spiritual journey is kind of like getting sucked into the void of the narrative that is floating all around us, that is trying to pull us away from our humanity. And what we can do, the most rebellious thing that we can do, is to choose to align deeper with our humanity, and to really begin to question what it means to be human. And again, what it means to be human on many levels, I think a big part of that is to be able to celebrate the fact that you literally are like a bridge between worlds, that you literally are like a wizard incarnated, that within you there is this access to being able to kind of like connect to the infinite flow of creativity that arises through you in every moment. And so as you create the space for that to happen, you find that what will arise through you won't just be for you, it'll be for those around you as well. And at the very least, even if it just brings you back to a more compassionate place within your heart, like, that is enough. That is enough. So, insight, magical tools, writing, and starcrafting. I am an instrument of the divine, which pours through me and into the world. And I think starcrafting, I guess starcrafting would almost again kind of be this idea of kind of like connecting to the higher realms and like bringing it into the physical. I like the idea of just kind of like stargazing. It's just like, man, like just stargazing itself and just kind of like looking up at the stars and just letting the wonder fill you. And then just listening to it. So with this card, in addition to like action and writing and everything like that, softness, receptiveness, gentleness, listen, stillness, quietness. Fall in love with that. Get excited about it. Get excited about having a conversation with the universe. And then really just allow yourself to be able to have that space where, again, you can just kind of turn off the distractions, pull out a pen and paper, and just kind of be with your heart. And remember what that feels like. Fall in love with it again. And then make a bit of a routine out of it if you choose. So anyways, obviously more to talk about here, but let's move into the next reading. So this card here, number 22, Insight. Go ahead and leave an affirmation into the chat. Something that really just kind of like reiterates the message of this card for you. So it can be an I am affirmation, a we are affirmation. So I'll just lead by example, and I encourage you guys to either type in the chat or just reflect on your own time. Just kind of like say within your own head what this means to you. So I'm continuing to create space within my practice for softness, for stillness, for quietness, for silence, to remove my constant connection to the hindrance of technological devices, and to be able to return back to the simplicity of being able to listen to the infinite flow of creativity that is present within me in all times, to be the bridge between the higher conscious worlds and this terrestrial plane, and to be able to bring more wisdom and inspiration into it through my actions, love, and compassion. Very cool card. First card that we pulled from the beautiful new deck, the Hidden World. So again, if you guys want to get more readings from this deck, I'm excited to be able to dive into it. Let's get some more signups on the PayPal and Patreon, and we can always choose that deck in the future as we continue to do some more readings here. So thank you again, Jess. And thank you again, Peaceful Human Advancement, for your contribution on PayPal as well. I know they're not online right now. And thank you to Discog. Discog, I gave you a shout out earlier. I'm not sure if you're in the YouTube, but thank you to Discog, joined on the Patreon at the $5 level. And Discog, if you would like to be able to help facilitate the next reading on air, go ahead and leave a comment in the YouTube chat if you are there. Hopefully you're still tuned in right now. We can get you to be able to help assist with that. If not, we'll just kind of facilitate one in general, and we'll just keep an eye on the time here. And yeah, we'll just go with the flow here, and just give me a moment here just to be able to check a couple things behind the scenes. And you guys can, again, just go ahead and leave some affirmations down in the chat. And yeah, if we can get, so we got one new Patreon sign up for today. I'm going to update the on-screen graphic for that. And thank you again to Discog, and thank you again to everyone. We're currently at 104, working towards our next milestone of 111 on the Patreon. And again, that milestone from there will go up higher. So we're working our way towards the 200 milestone on Patreon, which is again my goal, to be able to have that before the baby arrives, and that will just really put Lacey and I in a space where we can really just focus on taking care of the things that we need to, and being there for the baby as well. Let me just see here if this is working properly. All right, just updating. Cool. Thank you guys again. Feel free to leave any comments of gratitude in the chat. I'm just updating the on-screen information. So thank you to Discog. And Discog, there you are. You're in the chat. All right, Discog, I'll prompt you in a second and ask you what deck it is that you would like to be able to use. And we've got a few decks here. And this may be the last reading for tonight, depending on how long this one goes. But if anybody wants to sign up for the PayPal or contribute on PayPal or sign up onto the Patreon, go ahead and do that. And we will still get into more readings as we go. So just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just trying to click. There it is. Okay. All right. Updating the on-screen Discog. Awesome. Thank you so much, Discog. Guys, let's give a nice round of applause and a nice warm welcome to Discog. And again, for those of you who are curious about the upcoming events within the community, we do have a Dream Discussion Circle. Right now, like the schedule is just kind of up in the air just with the holiday season and stuff. But once the holiday season passes, we'll be back into a regular routine. And Jess, if you want to join into the Dream Circle again, just let me know. Remind me through DM, because you've contributed on PayPal quite a few times. So even if I know before you're even on the PayPal, just let me know and we can get you hooked up to the Dream class. And the Dream discussion classes are like always good. Wizard's choice of deck. All right, well, if that's the case, then maybe we should do the because this is the other deck that I haven't chosen, that we haven't done yet, which is the Druid Animal Oracle deck. So what do you guys think? Should we do the Druid Animal Oracle deck? Break this deck in? So again, with the Patreon, if you guys aren't familiar, it's a monthly contribution. With that, there's lots of awesome perks and also access to the ongoing member events. One of the events that's going to be coming up, I talked about this in our Solstice broadcast, I'll just reiterate it here, is going to be an event that's basically about like honoring, like creating a safe space to be able to honor sacred rage and frustration and anger. So if you're feeling like there's like anger inside of you, which 100%, like welcome to like the reality that many of us are experiencing, then this is going to be a place where we'll be able to like hold the opportunity for us to be able to transform it, transmute it, and to be able to talk about it. And it'll be like, basically, I don't think that won't, if it is recorded, it'll be like a it won't be like, it'll just be a recording for the members as well. And I'm hoping Lacey is going to be able to help facilitate that with me. And I'm really looking forward to that one, because I know a lot of people are just like, oh my God, I need that. I want that. So just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just closing a couple things in my browser. Again, if it's a little bit laggy, I apologize, guys. There's not too much I can do for that. Okay. All right, well, let's get into our next reading. And yeah, let's use the Druid Animal Oracle deck. So this is actually a new deck that I bought just for us, just for each and every single one of you who tuned into these broadcasts, for us to be able to work with the magic of the animals. So this is a very, very cool deck. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to dive into that. And Discog, thank you again for joining on the Patreon at the $5 level. And if we can get one more contribution on the PayPal or Patreon before the end of this broadcast, that's a super awesome bonus, and we'll make sure that we get in at least one more reading there. And other than that, we'll just keep an eye on the time, and I'll let you guys know when I have to jump off at some point or another. But other than that, it is my plan to be back on here much more regularly to the best of my ability. So, so I'll just post a link for the PayPal and the item shop. And again, if anybody wants to order from the item shop, the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, I do have some available for that. So if anybody wants to order for the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, you guys are welcome to order those from the shop, and Patreon members get a discount for that. So if you sign up for the Patreon and order a Light Guardian crystal, like you actually like make your Patreon back basically through like the money you save through the discount. So it's a pretty good deal. And if you sign up at the $33 level on the Patreon, I do have a special offer where you basically like you can receive a Light Guardian crystal, and all I ask is that you just like pay shipping on that. So that's like a nice little extra bonus there. So all right, let's keep things rolling here. Let's get into our next reading. Thank you guys again so much for your support. And cool. And we got like 10,000 people tuned in on YouTube and a few people tuned in on Twitch. Yo, what's up, Twitch? If you guys are tuned in on Twitch, go ahead and leave a comment there. And Discog, let's get ready to go into this. So Discog, just confirm for me that you're ready. The way how we're going to do this, what I'll do is I'll just kind of create an opportunity for us to just be able to charge the deck. And we will just do a little bit of a meditation where we just drop into some gratitude. And then with that, we will set the intention, show us what we need to see. And so everyone can just kind of join us in that meditation. And then Discog, as I lead you through that, I'll prompt you to just be able to listen to your intuition. And then from there, basically, when you're ready, you'll type now into the chat. And then at that point, we'll split the deck. And so you saying now will be the moment we split the deck. So it's like the synchronicity of you saying now is what allows us to be able to pull the right card for whatever the community needs to hear in this moment. So I'll guide you through it, no rush, and yeah, we'll just kind of go with the flow. So cool. All right, Discog is ready. So beautiful. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Discog. Thank you to Peaceful Human Advancement. And yeah, let's keep things going here. If we do have another Patreon sign up or PayPal contribution, we'll do that next reading. Otherwise, this may be the last reading for the day. We'll see. We'll go with the flow. And yeah, let's focus in on this one with the Druid Animal Oracle deck. So this is our first time using this deck, so we're breaking it in. So this is always so exciting. All right, here we go. So for everybody here, for Discog, for everyone, when you're ready, just go ahead and gently close your eyes. Just allow yourself to connect with your breath. And as you breathe here, just bring your awareness into your heart space. And within your heart space, just focusing on gratitude for this message we are about to receive, for this community, for this sacred intentional space. And Discog, and for everybody here, focusing our attention on the intention, show us what we need to see. We being the individual, we being the community, we being the collective. You can imagine like a beam of light shooting up into the sky as you set forth that intention. Show us what we need to see. We bring forth that wisdom down from the heavens into this terrestrial plane. And so speak that intention, show us what we need to see. Speak it with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your words, speak it with your soul. Discog, as you are here with us in this space, take a few more moments, listening to your intuition, connecting with your breath. When you are ready, type now into the chat and we will split the deck. I'll charge it a little bit more, and feel free to type your wizard noises for everybody else. I'm excited to see what the message will be as we work with the oracle magic of the animals all around you and me. For their wisdom is pristine. They are teachers of an ancient age, here to be able to serve as symbols for us to be able to find new ways. So as we continue to open to the wisdom of our heart, may we realize that there is a wizard inside of us that connects to all parts, beyond just the human form, into the animals of the many realms. We'll allow ourselves to see what has always been within and without. And Discog, when you're ready, type now into the chat. We shall split the deck and see what message the universe has. I'm excited to see this card, man. Like, I haven't fully dived into this deck, so we're doing it here for the first time. For those of you who are here, this is our animal oracle deck that we're about to dive into. So Just holding space here for Discog when they're ready. They'll type now into the chat, and then we'll split the deck. You guys are doing great. Keep holding that vibration. Hold that vibration. Steady, steady. And now, says Discog. There we go. Nice smooth cut. And pulling the card there. All right. Here we go. Excited to see what card it is that we have. Our first time using the oh wow, the Animal Oracle deck. Oh, this is a great card to be able to receive the first time we're using this deck. Do you guys want to guess what animal it is? You guys want to play that game where you can guess what animal it is? I bet you guys won't be able to guess who it is. Who could it possibly be? I wonder if only you had the eyes to see. Who could it possibly be? So, anyways, hope you guys got that hint. Pretty easy, I think. Anyways, the card that we have got is the card of the owl. The beautiful, wise owl. And this is interesting because, again, like literally the card that we had before this was like the Merlin wizard card. And now this card is like the owl card. And like the owl is commonly associated like with Merlin being one of their many forms. So very, very cool. So let's dive into this. And let me just open up the deck here as I can find which one it is. And is this in alphabetical order? Maybe not. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. So let's take a moment here, just kind of observe the image of the deck. Very good to those of you who guessed owl. Congratulations. Bonus points to you. All right, so thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. This will be our last reading for tonight, unless we do have another contribution on PayPal or Patreon. So if you guys want to join our community on PayPal, or sorry, on Patreon, go ahead and do that. Join the monthly membership. Links in my profile. And if you guys want to contribute on PayPal, contribute $5 or more. We can always pay it forward. And thank you guys so much for the support. And yeah, let's dive into this card. And thank you, Discog, our most recent Patreon supporter. So, all right, here we go. Okay. So, looking at this card, very, very beautiful card. And again, if you're here, this message is for you. For everyone who's tuned in, this message is for you. The way how we do this is all collective reading. So, beautiful image of the owl, and just kind of looking at what we got here. So you can see the owl, and I'll show it to both screens in a second. Beautiful, just kind of like rich brown and green colors here, and there's like a little like pendant kind of like down below. Can't really make out what it is. It almost like kind of like looks like a little like skull. It's kind of like hard to see, but you can kind of see there just the owl just kind of like hanging out with its big beady eyes and its pristine wisdom. Have you guys ever seen an owl without feathers? Have you guys ever seen the owl when they like lift its like lower half up and you see its legs? Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? So anyways, it's an image of an owl. When you guys see this, what do you feel? Feel free to leave a message of that in the chat. Let's read from the deck and let's dive a little bit deeper. Again, if you're here, this message is for you. If anything I say resonates, drop an 1111 in the chat. And yeah, let's just dive a little bit deeper here. Oh, side note, if anybody wants to like tune in on my TikTok and like the video on TikTok by hitting the screen, feel free to do that, and then that will send it out to more people. I think right now there's like no one on TikTok, so if you guys want to boost the TikTok, feel free to do that as you tune in. Nonetheless, all right, here we go. Owl. Keywords: detachment, wisdom, and change. Meaning: owl teaches us the wisdom of turning a disadvantage into an advantage. For most birds, the coming of darkness renders it impossible for them to feed, but the owl's exceptional hearing enables it to pick out and swoop on unsuspecting prey during the night. Twilight has been described as owl light, and going for a quiet walk in the woods at this shimmering time of twilight is an excellent way to develop a sensibility to the other world and the inner soul of nature. You may feel drawn to a study of esoteric lore or clairvoyance. Working with the owl as your ally will help you to do this. And the reverse meaning for this card: you may need to be wary of withdrawing too much from the world. An ability to be detached and discerning is an asset, unless it becomes a defense against being fully alive with all the vulnerability this entails. Interesting, I'm going to reread that again. You may need to be wary of withdrawing too much from the world. An ability to be detached and discerning is an asset, unless it becomes a defense against being fully alive with all of the vulnerability this entails. Perhaps there is not such a need for secrecy or holding back. The owl can signal a time of change or initiation, of new beginnings. It can pretend it can it can portend the death of one thing, but also the birth of another. An old Sussex saying is, when the owl swoops at night, expect a fair marrow. Expect a bright dawn. It will surely come. Beautiful, beautiful card. I love the message here, and again, this is a very, very powerful card to be able to receive, especially after the previous cards that we've had so far within our sequence tonight. And it definitely does relate, because again, a lot of what we were talking about earlier is we just kind of take a moment here, and I'll just kind of channel in some additional wisdom through the message of the owl card. A lot of the message that we were talking about earlier was this idea of just being able to kind of like take time to like go inwards, take time for yourself, take time to disconnect. But at the same time, like with this card, the reverse meaning of it is also giving us the opportunity to be able to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing it in moderation. So it's like, yeah, okay, like I'm gonna disconnect from the world and go play video games for a bit. That's totally cool, go do that. But suddenly, if you're like playing video games to be able to like avoid the responsibilities that you have, that's where you need to be able to check in with yourself. And so with this card, it's important to understand that like this life is about being able to be alive with the things that make us vulnerable. And so you do want to be able to find that balance where, like the owl, you are existing within the darkness and existing within the night and existing within the solitude. But then through this place of being able to kind of be present within the darkness, so to speak, the quote unquote darkness, the nighttime, it's also giving you the chance to be able to cultivate the deeper wisdom so that you can bring it with you into the cultivation of the dawn. So with this card, again, it gives us the opportunity to be able to understand that, like the owl, we really want to be able to pay attention to our surroundings, to pay attention to where the universe is softly directing us. And so if the universe is basically just saying, especially within this time of the year, hey, this is a great time to be able to turn inwards, pay attention to that, listen to that, use it to your advantage, use it as an opportunity for you to be able to work with those energies so you can cultivate a deeper sight within yourself. And so again, I think this card is a very, very powerful card, and we commonly see the owl associated with higher wisdom throughout like many different symbols. And obviously when we see the card of the owl, we usually think about like the themes of sight and the themes of sight beyond sight. The owls are one of the few birds that actually are able to hunt at night. And through this, it's through the practice of being able to kind of like see the illumination within inside of all things, even during the darkness. So within your path, how can you use the wisdom of the owl to be able to acknowledge that, yeah, there will be times when nighttime comes, yet even within those times, can I still see the illumination within the nighttime? Can I see a way to be able to use this as an opportunity to be able to nurture myself, to sustain myself, to seek the parts of myself that maybe I've been ignoring up until this point? So again, within this, it's also giving us the opportunity to be able to connect with the other world, to connect with the inner soul of nature, to connect with our dream space, to connect with the soul of again, just kind of like the inner wisdom, and much of what the previous cards are already talking about. Again, this is like very in theme with the previous cards of being the bridge, of cultivating the insight through the process of working inwards. And so there's not like again, like with this card, it's also a big card that really is again about embracing the fact that like change is inevitable, and through the process of change, one of the most powerful ways of being able to move through change is through the practice of being able to become conscious of the things that we may be attached to. And so if you feel that there are certain things that are kind of like preventing the change from naturally unfolding, give yourself the opportunity to be able to practice releasing whatever it is that may be holding you into that old pattern, and yet with the opportunity of being able to know that in doing so, it is opening you up to something new. So again, like how many of us are kind of like holding on to something either consciously or unconsciously, yet in the process of doing that, it's actually preventing like something new from arriving. And so this card, it really celebrates the practice of detachment. And that's something that, you know, sometimes the universe will be like, no, you have to let this go. And then there are other times where the universe is like, oh, you can hold on to this as long as you choose. And then we just kind of hold on to it. We kind of hold on to it. And we're just like, maybe it's comfortable. Like maybe what you're holding on to is like an old habit, an old routine, something you're familiar with. But then in the process of doing that, it's actually preventing you from moving into a new world, from moving into a new space, not just like physically, but a new space within yourself. And so again, you know, this card is really giving us the opportunity to be able to make sure we're taking that time to introspect into our own wisdom as we continue to navigate through the ever-changing environments that we are in, and to be able to, again, be able to find the yin within the yang through the practice of being able to use the nighttime, to use the shadow, to use the darkness as a tool, as an advantage, as something that we can actually be able to see deeper parts within ourselves. And again, through the process that the owl can signal a time of change, of initiation of new beginnings. It can portend the death of one thing, but also the birth of another. So kind of like what I've said before, every end is a beginning if you choose it. So this card is a very, very powerful card that gives you the opportunity to be able to hold the higher wisdom of honoring the cycles that life is moving through, honoring whatever cycle you may be currently experiencing, and to really be able to celebrate the practice of letting go in order to be able to receive that which is waiting for you through the fresh energies of the new dawn, and the scrumptious little meals that you can save for yourself in the middle of the night, and then you can go get yourself some like little field mouse. Poor field mouse. Owls are pretty cool, man. I think owls are pretty dope. And again, if you're feeling like there's more for this card for you, I would just encourage you guys to, like, as this card suggests, you know, like sit with the teachings of the owl. What does the owl teach you? You know, even just for you guys here in the chat, when you think of the owl, what does it teach you? What other themes does it teach you? So again, when we think of the owl, again, we've already kind of talked about it. It is one of the few nocturnal animals that hunts at night. So it really has this deeper relationship with the night. But again, it also kind of like is it's like an observer. It really pays a lot of time just like looking. And then it's also, as far as I can tell, it's quite a kind animal. It's definitely an animal that, according to YouTube videos I've seen, is like quite hilarious and funny at times. But maybe that's just like the more docile ones. Don't go pet a wild owl just because you were tuned into this broadcast and thought it was a good idea. So, but anyways, very, very beautiful card. Not too much more for me to be able to say on that, but again, I do encourage you guys to even just like continue to like Google search like what is the meaning of owl, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a lot more stuff on that, and I'm actually curious to just continue to do that as well, because for any of these cards, like, they're not just for you guys. Like, I'm receiving this as well, where I'm just like, yeah, owl energy is definitely a big energy that I like to be able to connect with. And I would say like some of my like main animal totems is, again, kind of like wolf and owl. And again, the owl is a lot to do with like kind of like the higher conscious wisdom. It is kind of like the Merlin energy in the animal totem deck. So really connecting with the darkness, which connects us to the space within our own heart, that connects us to the higher insights and the true wisdom of understanding the cycles of nature as we ebb and flow through them. And yeah, very, very cool. If this resonates with you, drop those 1111s in the chat. Discog says, beautiful, thank you so much. Thank you, Discog. I'm glad there was a message here that resonated with you guys. And if it did resonate, feel free to leave a little affirmation in the chat on how this card resonated with you. So again, you can write out a little affirmation, an I am or a we are affirmation, and I'll do the same as well. And yeah, please feel free. Let's talk about owls just for a little bit more. Mike says, yep, that was the animal I was really drawn to before I really discovered the wolf. The owl always appears to Link when he's about to go on the journey. And that's literally what I was thinking. Mike, I had a feeling you were gonna I knew you were aware of that too, where like the owl appears to in Legend of Zelda. It appears in multiple Zeldas. Like the king of Hyrule like appears like as an owl multiple times in the Ocarina of Time, and a couple of the other ones as well. So yeah, the owl is like the guide, the teacher, the wizard, the kind of like the elder along the path that holds this wisdom, that's helping us guide our way back to our own heart so that we can see the wisdom within ourselves. And yeah, sometimes spending a little bit of time within the solitude and the stillness and the softness of the dark in the nighttime allows us to be able to connect more with that deeper magic that's already inside of us. So wow, it's so cool how all the cards have kind of like really linked into these common themes tonight. So between the bridge, the insight, the wizard, and the owl. So Very, very cool. So, little affirmation. I am continuing to connect deeper with the mystery of the owl teachings. I will honor the stillness and the softness at nighttime to be able to cultivate a deeper sight inside and out. I honor the wisdom that is already inside of me. Thank you, owl. So, owl card. Choo 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 choo. Thank you, Discog, for helping us pull that card for the community. Very well done. Beautiful, beautiful card. Thank you again for everyone for receiving it. That was the first time that we pulled from our new deck, the Druid Animal Oracle deck. So if you guys missed that, stick around. There will be more Druid Animal Oracle deck as we go. And yeah, as it is right now, guys, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We're either going to wrap it up here or we're going to do one more reading if we do have another Patreon sign up or a contribution on PayPal. So if you guys would like to be able to help assist with an on-air reading, just to be able to add your support, go ahead and join on Patreon. It takes a few minutes, and you can do that as an $11 monthly sign up. And you can also contribute on PayPal with a $5 contribution or more. And you can always do kind of like a pay it forward method. And I'll be back on air to the best of my ability ongoing. And yeah, looking forward to being able to hang out here more with you guys. Like this, back in September, like I was like literally, I was just in like the routine. I was more capable of just really being into these broadcasts like Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. And it was really, really exciting. So I'm working on being able to get back into a little bit more of that rhythm. And to the best of my ability, I'll try to be on here Monday to Friday as much as I can. Some days on the evening, some days in the morning, but pretty busy life these days, but doing my best to be able to be here for you guys. And in turn, doing so to be able to work towards our goals on Patreon. And yeah, again, if you guys want to order any items from the shop, check out the item shop, links in my profile. And yeah, you can order one of the beautiful Light Guardian crystals. If you guys have been like on the edge of ordering the Light Guardian crystals, again, the Patreon members, you guys get a discount for that. I'm also going to be doing more broadcasts where I'm just doing like energy work with the crystals, where I'll kind of like show up and just hold space for you guys and do that. That will mostly just be on my TikTok and Instagram. But I did that like a couple weeks ago or a while ago, and there's like hundreds of people who tuned into that. It was really, really, really cool. Thank you guys for the feedback. Treffy, thank you. Treffery, that was great. Thank you for the reading. Much gratitude. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, and even if you guys are just like, maybe you're not even looking for an on-air reading, but you're just like, hey, I just want to support. Again, feel free to contribute through the PayPal or Patreon or order an item from the shop. And the Patreon, again, upcoming events for the Patreon member: Dream Discussion Circle, Spiritual Seeker Support Circle, Conscious Media Creator Support Circle, and also the circle where we're going to be like creating space to honor our secret, our sacred rage, like our sacred frustration or our sacred anger. Yo, Ren, what's up? We were just hanging out here. We just pulled the owl card. That was pretty fun. But yeah, if you guys are like looking, like this is a new event that we're going to be doing, and we're going to try it out. We're going to like make a very intentional space where we can really just be able to talk about the things that are connecting into our experience, that are, you know, bringing forth these experiences of anger and frustration. Like that's the thing. Like I think, you know, we talked about this in the Solstice broadcast, and again, I'm just chit-chatting here, guys, until we have a new contribution on the PayPal or Patreon. So if there's no new contributions in the next little bit, that's totally cool. I'll wrap it up, and I'll just be going back and taking care of Lacey. But again, I do have the ability to do one more reading. So if you guys want to contribute on PayPal or Patreon, we can do one more reading for the team. So if you guys want to hang out a little bit longer, go ahead and do that. But yeah, I was just saying in the recent broadcast we did, the Solstice broadcast, one of the things that I was talking about that was like really, really, you know, resonating for a lot of people is this idea that if you're feeling like anger and frustration and rage within the world right now, like that means you're alive. Like that's actually like if you're frustrated with the world right now, if there's like anger and things happening inside of you, like that's not like, yeah, it sucks, but like it's actually a good thing because it means you're alive. And if you weren't angry about anything happening in the world right now, like that's actually more concerning. Not to say you can't still be, you know, you can be angry and happy at the same time. It's not like it's one or the other. Like I can be an incredibly like grateful, joyful person while still being incredibly like angry and frustrated about certain things in the world right now. And then what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to kind of like find the way to create the channel so that we can direct that energy of anger and frustration towards positive transformation, both within ourselves and the collective. So yeah, we talked a lot about that in the Solstice broadcast. If you guys want to go back and check that out. And again, you can find that on my YouTube channel and Spotify on Paradigm Shift Radio. So But yeah, if you guys are looking to get one more reading on air, then go ahead and contribute on the PayPal or Patreon, and we can do that. And I'm just taking a moment here just to be able to check in with Lacey and see how she's doing. And I think she's playing Minecraft with her son right now, so it's all good. So, all right. Like I said, guys, we'll stick around just for a little bit longer. If you guys want to be able to get into one more reading, we can do that. And for anybody who'd like to be able to help initiate that, go ahead and contribute on the PayPal or Patreon. And if you guys are thinking of joining onto the Patreon at some point, you can do that at any point. And again, the $33 level on the Patreon is the best offer, and that will give you the option to be able to receive an additional Light Guardian Crystal as well. And then if you want to order the Lemurian Light Guardian Crystal, that's also an option as well. If anybody is interested also in like monthly like one-on-one coaching, I do that again for my Patreon supporters at the basic level. But then if you're looking for something like more personal, that is something that I'm also offering that's kind of like on the side as well. So if somebody here likes the idea of being able to work with me one-on-one like once a week to be able to check in and support you on your journey in whatever way you feel you need it, let me know just through private DM, and that's something I can talk to you about. And that's like, it would be a little bit like more of like a sliding scale investment, but yeah, definitely open to be able to connect with more people about that. And if we feel it's a good fit for you, we can definitely talk more about it. So but yeah, in the moment, guys, let's see if we can get one more contribution on Patreon or PayPal, and we'll give it a little bit more on the clock. And if not for today, that's totally cool. We've already been on air for about 90 minutes so far. And then we'll be back here soon enough for some more readings as well. And I'm like, if we get like a few more signups, like that'll be, again, I'm totally cool with keeping the momentum going. As long as Lacey is okay, then we'll just keep going for a little bit longer, and we'll just honoring the energies, and I'll let you guys know if I'm like too tired or anything like that. But thank you guys again so much for your support. Thank you to Discog for joining on the Patreon. Thank you to Jess for your contribution on PayPal, and thank you to Peaceful Human Advancement for your contribution on PayPal as well. So if anybody would like to be able to sign up onto the PayPal or Patreon, if you guys are like thinking of signing up in the next little bit, just do me a favor, drop a 555 in the chat, and then I'll just be able to see that. And again, for our Patreon members, you guys will get updates on upcoming events. And yeah, excited to be able to have some more awesome opportunities for us to be able to connect deeper as a team. So if you're looking to be able to connect with like pretty cool spiritual community and ongoing events to support you, then definitely consider joining onto the Patreon and getting involved with our member events there. So cool. All right, keeping an eye on things here. All right. Cool. All right, team. We'll give it a few more minutes. And again, if you guys want to do some more on-air readings, I'm more than happy to be able to dive into that. And yeah, we'll just play it by ear for the next little bit. And thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in and for adding your support in all forms. So. It'd be cool if there was something like a senzu bean, something that could give people fuel when they get tired. Absolutely. So I got some nice green tea here. That works for me. But yeah, we got, so the other decks that we got, I'll just show you guys if you're looking again just for some additional things to be able to get excited about. So again, for those of you on TikTok, thank you so much for joining in. If you guys would like to be able to contribute for an on-air reading, my PayPal link is in my profile. And obviously it only takes like 1 minute to be able to contribute on PayPal. And we got time for at least one more reading. And if you guys would like to be able to sign up for that, either join the PayPal or the Patreon. And again, you can choose from a few decks. We have the Sacred Spirit Oracle deck, which I'll show you guys here. And again, just keeping an eye open for any contributions coming in. The Druid Oracle deck, Druid Animal Oracle deck, which is the new one that we use tonight. This one I really like. I want to be able to dive deeper into this one. The Hidden Worlds deck. So this one's like all about like astral planes and stuff like that. So this one was really cool tonight. And the Hero's Journey deck. I have like so many decks now, it's ridiculous. And I'm gonna have more decks after Christmas. Me and Lacey always get tarot decks for each other after Christmas. And also the Lightworker Oracle deck. And oh, this is another one, the Chinese Chinese Oracle deck, which I haven't used on air either, so that's a new one as well. And then the traditional Ananda Tarot deck. So what was that, like, how many decks do I have? What am I supposed to do with all these tarot decks and Oracle decks? So many of them. So all right, let me just check in here. All right. Well, if anything, maybe we can just do one more quick reading with the Lightworker Oracle deck. And within that time, maybe somebody else will contribute for an extra reading after that. And then we'll go by ear. But yeah, what do you guys think? Would you guys like it if I were to just do one more reading, even if it's just a quick one from the Lightworker Oracle deck? If so, just drop a 777 in the chat if you guys would like me to do just one more reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck, which is a good deck. Like, and I like doing this deck because it's always a good deck for us to be able to like receive insight from. Even though the cards in it, like, man, I could talk about these cards. Like, some of these cards, like, they're just like full on podcast waiting to happen. So, but yeah. Let's work on getting a new sign up on PayPal or Patreon. If we can get one more contribution on Patreon, that'd be super, super appreciated. And we'll work towards that goal of 111 supporters. And again, if you guys are looking for a pretty dope, awesome, conscious community, then definitely consider joining the Patreon when you get a chance. Again, we have ongoing events for members, and our next events coming up are going to be our Dream Discussion Circle, which me and Lacey host, my partner Lacey, our Spiritual Seeker Support Circle, Conscious Creator Support Circle, and our Honoring Sacred Anger and Rage Circle, and lots of other ones as well. So the link for those are in my profile, but let's just go into one more reading, at least with the Lightworker Oracle deck. And again, if any contributions come through on the PayPal or Patreon, we'll do one more reading after this. So this will be the last reading for tonight, unless we do have any more readings that come through as I'm doing this reading. And again, if you guys are just like curious about the conscious community that I facilitate, make sure that you check out the Patreon when you can. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right, okay. Lightworker Oracle deck. Let's get into this one. And again, I'll just make this a quick one, and this will be our last reading for tonight, unless we do have any new signups as we're doing this one. So here we go. All right. Inviting everyone to be able to just join me in this quick little meditation. And again, we'll just put forth the intention, show us what we need to see. So for everybody here, when you're ready, feel free to close your eyes. As we gently just connect with our breath, soft, gentle inhale, soft, gentle exhale. Show us what we need to see. As we bring our awareness into the space of gratitude for the messages we are here to receive, for this community, for the sacred space. Focus our intention, show us what we need to see. We being the individual, we being the collective, we being the team. Speaking that intention with our hearts, speaking it with our minds, speaking with our souls, speaking with our words. I'll just charge the deck here, do a little bit of wizard magic, and then we'll split the deck and we'll see what message we have. And again, for anyone who's tuned in, this reading is for you. So do you feel the magic within the air as we create this opportunity for us to truly care about the present moment that we are in, to be able to receive the gifts of our infinite kin? As we split the deck, we shall see what message the cards have for you and for me. Beautiful. All right. Oh, this is a very relative card. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. And let's keep things rolling here. The card that we have pulled with the Lightworker Oracle deck is the card number 4, Paradigm Shift. It's my card, yo. It's our card. Card number 4, Paradigm Shift. And I'll pull open the info in the book, and we'll read a little bit more about it. And again, I'll just keep this a relatively short reading. And as we're doing this, if anybody wants to contribute on PayPal or Patreon, go ahead, and then we'll do another reading after this. But otherwise, this will be the last reading for today. And thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in on whatever platform you happen to be tuned in on. So looking at this card here, the image for this card, when you guys see the image of this card, what do you see? What do you feel? It's a very, very beautiful image. You can see, again, just kind of showing to both cameras here, this beautiful image of this this woman sitting in front of a door, and there's kind of like this like mystical kind of like person behind it, almost like kind of like a wizard. Not sure if they're male or female, and these very, very like ancient symbols actually around the door, and this individual just kind of like sitting there in front of it, just kind of like waiting for the door to be able to open, waiting for a new path to be able to emerge. So let's dive into this. And again, I'll read this here. And again, for anybody who's here, if you're here, this message is for you. And again, if you guys would like to be able to receive any on-air readings as we're doing this, last call, and go ahead and contribute on PayPal or Patreon, and then we'll be done shortly after this. But if you guys want to keep this broadcast going, again, contribute on air through PayPal or Patreon, and your support there is so appreciated. And be sure to check out the item shop if you guys want to order any items there. All right, let's dive into this. Yeah, very much a portal. Absolutely. All right. Again, just reading this here. If you're here, this message is for you. Card number 4, Paradigm Shift. You are undergoing radical growth in your belief systems. Now is the time to challenge old attitudes and question previous expectations. You are in an extraordinary time. The world you thought you knew can suddenly break open, and a new world can become your reality. Buddhists sometimes speak of the beginner mind, that which assumes nothing and therefore is open to everything. A spiritual psychologist might call this the inner child, as it is innocent, curious, unfixed, and always learning. It doesn't get stuck on an answer having to be one way. There is openness to the unknown and curiosity instead. Old souls can sometimes find it hard to recapture their not knowingness. Asking someone with a lot of life experience who may have become a bit world weary to drop expectation and look at the world through fresh eyes can be challenging. Yet life becomes much more energizing and interesting when you are open and don't hold expectations about what it will be. Just lost my spot. Suddenly, you are receptive to the universe helping you in ways in the past you did not believe possible, all because you kept an open mind. If you are feeling that you don't really know yourself, your relationship, or your place in the world as you once did, if you are feeling that what you once held to be certain now seems to be a little shaky, these are signs that you are going through a paradigm shift. This will bring you new perceptions that will free you to be in the world in new ways. You will find yourself shedding old limits, fears, and misconceptions. You are stepping beyond what you have known. You are a bit of a traveler in a new city, feeling awkward until she gets the lay of the land and how things operate in new place. As you trust the unexpected and unknown, the universe will be able to help you in unexpected and previously unknown ways. If you find yourself questioning the views of mass media or spoken in the conversations that those around you are having, take heart and know that you are awakening from a fear-based world into a love-filled reality. Your confusion will soon transform into joy at discovering that you are free and have no reason to be afraid. Very relative today. You are encouraged by the universe to embrace the power you have, to be a free thinker, accept the accelerated mental shift happening for you, even if it creates temporary uncertainty or discomfort. Dare to think thoughts of love rather than lower your vibration by choosing thoughts of fear. Trust for something helpful and empowering is happening in your soul. Beautiful, beautiful card there. A lot to be able to say. And so I'll just kind of riff on this for a bit. Again, last call if anybody would like to be able to contribute on PayPal or Patreon for some more on-air readings, and we'll keep the broadcast going. Otherwise, this will be our last reading for today, for this evening. And thank you again, everyone, so much for just joining in and for being here and for being a part of the wisdom that we're here to share. So every reading that we do is for whoever happens to be tuned in. So if you're here, then this reading is for you. So again, this card here, just channeling some more information. This is what I love to be able to do. The concept of the paradigm shift. This is so powerful. And it's interesting that, again, the project that I've built over the years, Paradigm Shift Central, when I was creating a name for it, like there was actually a time where I didn't know what to call it. Like I was like calling it, I think I called it like Evolve at one point. and I was trying to figure out like new ways to just kind of like reinvent the concept. But then the idea of just calling it paradigm shift, I'm just like, wait a second, like that's what it is. That's what it is. That's the source of our power. It's through the ability to be able to change the way we see, but then also to be able to change the way we relate to the story around us. So with the paradigm shift, it gives us the opportunity to really be able to honor the fact that things are changing. And how do we want them to change is a more important question that we get to be able to live. And so with this, this is opening up to the idea that there is more to this world than meets the eye. And so when we give ourselves the opportunity to be able to see it through fresh eyes, we can give ourselves the opportunity to be able to see the challenges through new perspectives, to be able to see it from that higher perspective of our interconnectedness, all that is, through the soul lessons that are unfolding around us in each and every single moment. And with this, we are also opening ourselves up, which is like a big part of this message, to the new ways that the universe can support us. So the old paradigm that people are living in is this idea of just kind of like they're just in the world. They're just in the world and they're just experiencing it, and random things are just happening and people are coming and going and they don't really have much control over it. However, this new paradigm shift that we have the opportunity to be able to align with is this opportunity to be able to understand that the universe wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to awaken your consciousness. And so with this, we have this opportunity to really be able to understand that there are things that are assisting us beyond this present moment that show up through synchronicities, that show up through dream space, that show up through meditation. And so within this, this is very much, again, kind of like the Matrix, where it's like, wait a second, like this world wasn't once what I thought it was. The paradigm is shifting. The way I am seeing things is shifting. And it's not just the way you see the world, but the most important thing is the way you see yourself within the world. So rather than just being able to look at the world and just be like, oh, wait a second, this world's not quite what I thought it was, it's also being able to open yourself up to the idea that maybe you weren't quite what you thought you were. And it gives you the opportunity to really be able to explore that question deeper and to actually, again, be able to kind of like fall in love with the mystery that is unfolding upon you, to really be able to align yourself with this paradigm shift of being able to see yourself as a hero within your journey. You are encouraged by the universe to embrace the power you have to be a free thinker. So this is a very, very powerful card that reminds you that, like the most important thing that you have is the ability to choose how you respond, to choose how you respond to the world around you in any single given circumstances. And I love the idea that with this card, again, this deck's like written like years ago, right? Where it's literally just like, if you find yourself questioning the views of mass media or spoken in conversations and those around you that are happening, take heart and know that you are awakening from a fear-based world into a love-filled reality. Your confusion will soon transform into a joy of discovering that which you are, and that you are free and have no reason to be afraid. So again, with this card, it's very, very powerful to really just be able to acknowledge the idea that, there will be those who will continue to kind of like live in this old paradigm, and it won't necessarily be our role to fully like change the way that they live their life. But as long as we're able to consciously be able to choose how we can respond to the environments that we are in, we can either choose to just be able to kind of like go with the mainstream status quo, or to be able to go with the path that our heart is leading us towards. And your heart will, again, be able to remind you, and just like throughout a lot of what's happening in the world right now, like my intuition has been quite loud. Like my intuition has been like, no, like don't do this, do this. And that's okay, because like that's what's right for me, and what's right for me may not be right for everyone. And I think what's important is to be able to honor where people are at, to be able to like honor the paradigm that they are seeing the world through, and your paradigm may not be their paradigm, and that's okay. I don't know what's happening with this hair here. I need a haircut. I need a paradigm shift haircut. But anyways, yeah, just getting close to finishing this up here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking on this card, even though I probably could. Just want to be able to honor my energy. I can feel myself getting a little bit tired. But again, if anybody does want to be able to say any single contributions, last call. But I think we're just going to wrap it up here in the next little bit. But again, with this card, this is a very, very powerful card that really gives us the opportunity to be able to reflect, what paradigm are we shifting into? And are we shifting from a paradigm of, like lack, into a paradigm of opportunity, into a paradigm of support, into a paradigm of curiosity, into a paradigm of knowing that the universe has our back to be able to help serve us in not only being able to awaken our consciousness, but being able to awaken the consciousness of others. So really connecting ourselves into this paradigm where we're really much more aligned with this like unconditional love. And it's not just an idea, but it's an experience. So don't just shift your paradigm into this idea of like, oh, this is how I see things, but shift your paradigm into, oh, this is how I experience things as well. So this is a little invocation. As I read this, invite yourself to just be able to like hear yourself saying these words. Through divine grace and unconditional love, I open my mind to the higher truth of love. May my mind be cleansed from conditioning and gently open to the light of love. I am willing to unlearn what no longer serves me. I am willing to receive teachings and information and guidance and assistance from those beings of pure light and unconditional love that can assist me on my life journey now. May my paradigm shift bring me closer to peace, love, empowerment, and happiness. May the process be held in guardianship by the universe, with grace, mercy, and tenderness through mine own free will. So be it. So there we go. Card number 4, paradigm shift. Very, very powerful card for us to be able to close off on. So yeah, feel free to leave any affirmations in the chat of how that card resonates with you, and we'll just close off the broadcast here. But again, if you guys want to be able to join on the Patreon at any point, you're more than welcome to. We got some awesome upcoming events for members. Thank you again, each and every single one of you, for joining in today and for being a part of our inaugural tarot broadcast. And I'll be back again here for more. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow, not 100% sure just yet. But come into the new year, I'll be planning on being able to be on air as much as I am capable of, as well as, again, continuing to host some awesome upcoming events for the community. So if you guys want to be able to support, join on the Patreon. Single contributions and tips always welcome through PayPal. And again, you guys can also order any items from the shop, including the ever so beautiful Light Guardian crystals. And I'll show you guys the each crystal comes with its own like light color variation as well, so the light changing color variation as well. So if you guys are thinking of getting a Light Guardian crystal, go ahead. I've got some fresh made Lumerian ones available as well, and you guys can order those from the shop. And thank you guys again so much for your support. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, and thank you to each and every single one of you for just being here and for receiving and for carrying this information and this wisdom with you. And I hope it in some ways has nurtured your spirit and inspire your heart. So any gratitude, feel free to leave that in the chat, and we'll wrap this up, and I'll just finish it off here. So thank you again so much, each and every one of you. Cool. And yeah, Lacey's waiting for me in the other room, so we're gonna wrap it up here. So cool. All right, thank you again, everyone. Concluding this broadcast. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. And yeah, what were the messages that we talked about tonight? Go spend some time just kind of like within like that quietness, within that stillness. Connect to your inner wizard and have fun doing it. So, all right, beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. Cool. Mike, yeah, feel free to send me a link for that if you haven't already yet. I'll double check my my inbox for it. So, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Wrapping up this broadcast. And as always, keep it shifty. Have a beautiful rest of your night. Peace and love. And